What is up everyone, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about a very important topic in Fortnite Chapter 6 Season 3, or pretty much any other Fortnite season for that matter, and that's common mistakes that you probably are making. Whether you're trying to rank up, whether you're trying to get a higher KD, whether you're trying to pub stomp, or whether you're trying to win tournaments. In this video, I'm going to be giving you guys 5 different mistakes that you're probably making that may be causing you to be held back from ranking up, cause you to improve slowly, or just cause you a variety of other issues. If you guys go on to enjoy this video, be sure to drop a like on it, subscribe if you're new to the channel and you want to see more. To all my seasoned subscribers, I know guys, I have been gone for a little bit, but I am back now. Gonna be back to making videos, so stay tuned for what we got coming. But with that said guys, and without further ado, let's get into today's video. So getting into our first mistake that you're probably making, and that's playing on autopilot. Playing on autopilot is one of the most common mistakes players make, pretty much regardless of the chapter, season, or meta. Playing on autopilot basically means that you're just queuing into matches mindlessly. Whether it's ranked, pubs, or anything else, you kind of just click play and you go on about your day, right? And yes, in theory, that's how you queue into a match. But the problem here is when you're going into a game and you're not really thinking about anything, and you're kind of just like, all right, playing another ranked game. You die once, you just instantly click again. When you queue into matches, whether it's ranked, pubs, or whatever else, without focusing, without actually having an explicit plan or strategy, it's going to stop you from adapting to your lobby, learning from mistakes, and basically, if things are going wrong, they're just going to keep going wrong because you're not changing anything. One thing that I like to recommend to kind of counter this issue of playing on autopilot is to set a goal before each match. It can be something like, I want to track how many people land at my POI, or I want to get a full loadout and max materials before I fight, or it can even be something as simple as I want to make it to top 10. If you have a goal in mind in each match and you can actually focus on accomplishing that goal, that's going to make you a lot more present while you're playing, and chances are you're going to place higher and get better kills as a result. One other thing you can do is mix up your drop spots a little bit, especially since the map is constantly changing right now. You can learn some new loot routes, you can learn some new rotations, or even a whole different side of the map than you're used to. And then every time you die, instead of just smashing the play button and jumping right back in, just take a second to relax a bit. Think about what you want to do in the next match, as we talked about earlier, whether it's a new strategy or if you want to repeat the same exact thing, just consider that and jump back in with some level of confidence. Every match gives you a chance to improve and learn something, so don't just vibe, play with a purpose, and play to improve. Getting into our second mistake for this video, and this is blaming everything except your mistakes. So I know this is a controversial one and a lot of people do this a lot. It's tempting to just blame your teammates or your bad loot for when you lose, but this mindset blocks you from actually going through personal growth. Focusing on other factors aside from yourself distracts you from actually fixing mistakes when you make them, because chances are if you died, you made a mistake. It could have been as simple as you were on low ground when you shouldn't have been, or you were too open in a fight, but there is something that resulted in you dying. Obviously, sometimes things just go against us, right? Sometimes you'll get headshot sniped from 300 meters and you have no idea how. Or you'll get third partied and it was just unfortunate. Sure, sometimes factors are going to go against us, but chances are if you died, you made a mistake at some point. Another thing people do a lot is, instead of blaming the fact that they made bad decisions in early game or landed at an overly contested spot or a place with no loot, they just say, oh, I got bad RNG. One thing that I like to recommend is, after a loss, ask yourself, what could I have done differently? For example, you could have made better callouts to your teammates, you could have made safer rotations, rotated earlier, spent more time looting and getting materials before you started fighting. There's always going to be something. And on top of that, you can use Fortnite's replay system to review 1 or 2 matches per session, or more if you want to do it that way, and try to spot your mistakes that resulted in you dying. Your RNG is always going to vary, but your improvement is completely within your control. So instead of blaming the factors that you can't control, focus on the ones you can. Getting into our third mistake that a lot of people make, and this is a lack of game sense / kind of awareness. We'll just call it lack of game sense for simplicity. Having great mechanics and aim is awesome, and it's definitely going to help you do well in game. We all know that having good mechanics is super important. Some of my most viewed videos on my channel with hundreds of thousands of views are simply how to improve your mechanics. But a lot of people fail to really think about their decisions and make the right moves. People mindlessly push into fights with no loot or materials, they rotate late, they land at random spots without thinking about it, or a million other things. Weak game sense leads to poor decisions like getting caught in storm or third-partied in mid-game. These are all things that you can very easily avoid if you're just a little bit more thorough about thinking about what you're doing before you do it. The way this game works right now, there's so much going on. There's so many people. There's so many fancy items and stuff like that, where it's easy to kind of get caught up in the moment and not really think through the decisions you're making. But that's one of the biggest differences between pros and regular players, is that pros can see the big picture. They see how this rotation is going to impact the rest of their game. They see why they need to make a certain decision over the other. Whereas with most of us, we kind of just make a decision and go with it. Especially in our current ranking system, it's really hard to rank up if you're not consistently placing high. So you really want to focus on thinking through your decisions. Always have a reason if you're going to go out of your way to fight. For example, you need a refresh on something, or the other player's already in shambles or just got out of an isolated fight. Keep in mind, you're always taking a risk by pushing into a fight, whether that's a third party, a long drawn out fight that you lose all your materials on, or you could simply just get yourself whooped in the fight. So try to have a justification or reason for why you're doing it. All in all, if you treat every match like a pub stomp and you don't think, then you're going to be the one getting stomped. Getting into our fourth mistake though, and this one is a bit more of a niche one, and that's chasing trends instead of mastering fundamentals. We'll call it chasing trends. Players obsess over viral tricks or new mechanics like flashy edits, but they fail to actually focus on the core things like building, aiming, rotations, or stuff like that. If you can't jump into a random fill-in creative right now and smoke 90% of the players you run into, you've got work to do on your mechanics and fighting sense, because frankly, most of those players are not that good. If you're trying to compete or you're trying to place high in ranked or anything like that, you should be able to pretty much smoke most players in a fight easily. Focusing too heavily on learning flashy Martaz techniques or crazy gameplay tricks is not going to do you much good unless you're already a mechanically good player. These tricks can be awesome, they look great, they're fun to do, but the fundamentals will always be top priority and the most beneficial for your improvement. Focusing on trends over basics leaves a lot of gaps in your gameplay. It makes you inconsistent against anybody who does have the fundamentals down. Yes, it's very fun to mess around with fancy tricks against bots, but when it comes to fighting a really good player, you'll be boxed up and cooked to a crisp before those even techniques cross your mind. Finally guys, getting into our fifth and final tip for this video, the fifth mistake you're probably making is not avoiding tilt. Tilt is basically when frustration spills over into your next match, and generally it's going to make you play recklessly or poorly. Getting into some nerd stuff here, tilt is basically when you get mad in game and it activates your fight or flight response. It floods your brain with stress hormones like cortisol. It kind of narrows your thinking, makes you very focused on what's making you mad, and makes you reactive rather than strategic. I know I'm getting into a lot of nerd stuff here. Basically, it makes you super stressed out and turns on your fight or flight. Going into full fight or flight mode over a Fortnite match sounds absolutely goofy, and you're probably like, that's really stupid. But that's the truth of the matter, and it really does happen all the time. Focus on recognizing it early when you become tilted. You're going to start getting heated little by little. Every little detail is going to make you more mad. You're going to make more impulsive moves in matches, like pushing when there's no reason to push. You'll overall just feel heated and like nothing could calm you down. If you can recognize this early and turn that switch off, whether it's taking a break to watch some YouTube, I recommend watching my videos because they give me money, or jumping in creative for a bit, or even just stepping away for a few minutes to relax and touch some grass for the first time ever. That can help a lot with managing tilt and making sure you don't make a bunch of angry, ridiculous moves that ruin your next few games. Because if you get tilted over losing 5% of your rank, and then you go on a terrible losing streak because you can't get it out of your mind and you end up losing 25%, it's going to be a whole lot worse. You can recover 5% in a game or two. 25%, it's going to take you a little while. So try to cut off these tilt streaks before they get too bad. Another tip that worked for me in the past when I did play competitive was to reframe my losses and think of them as more like learning opportunities. Instead of seeing my losses as failures, I tried to treat them as data for improvement. After a loss, I would use the replay system and pretty much analyze one specific moment. For example, it would be like, why did I die in that fight? And then I'd ask myself, what could I have done differently? Because frankly, if you can reframe this and focus on what you could have done better instead of why you lost, because there's always going to be a different reason why you lose. RNG is always going to be a factor. People being positioned randomly is always going to be a factor. There can be a kid sitting in a bush that headshot snipes you. But if you focus on what is in your control and what you can do better, it's going to give you a much different frame of reference on what's actually going wrong versus right in your games, and you're going to improve so much more. As I said, once in a while, we do just get screwed by something unfortunate, but most of the time, if you die in game, there was a reason for it rather than the world just magically being against you that day. If you can recognize these issues, acknowledge them, and use them as a chance to learn instead of a reason to get mad, you're going to find yourself improving dramatically as a result. But with all that said, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's video on 5 common mistakes you're probably making in Fortnite. Let me know down in the comments, guys, which one of these mistakes resonated with you, which one you make the most, and if you guys have any other common mistakes you can think of, or anything else you've been struggling with and found a solution to, definitely drop it down in the comments. Would love to have a little bit of a conversation down there and see what y'all need. And as well as that, guys, let me know down in the comments what videos you want to see next. I'm trying to get back into those consistent uploads. I know it's been a little while since I have, but if you guys have anything you want to see, any videos you want me to update, or even any new ideas, just let me know and I'll be open to them. Finally, guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new and you want to see more. I'm going to be posting consistently, so make sure to click that notification bell if you haven't. That way you know whenever I post something new. And lastly, guys, if you want to show some extra support, feel free to use code Teckoh in the item shop. It's 100% free for you, and it seriously does help me out a lot. Thank you so much to everyone who's using it. But with all that said, guys, thank you all for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.